It's here. I've just been texted this to say the bike is on its way. Well, it's about 10 minutes ago now. So okay, so I've been informed that Vera, the V7, is on its way. Could be a matter of 10-15 minutes away now. So I'm going to go out and scout to see if I can catch him coming up the road, maybe get a shot of him doing that, because I can't ride the blessed thing at the moment. What a shame. It's here. Left, left, left. Down here. Here, Joe. Keep coming up this way if you can. And then anyway here. Yeah. So she's here. I've got the keys. Hurrah! And I'm going to have to wash her because she's filthy. So I think the first thing to do, sod it, is I'm going to break out the hose, even though there's a hose pipe ban currently. It's been chucking it down with rain. But let's do a quick new bike walk round. Beautiful, isn't she? Somewhat dirty at the moment though. So, go around the front. Yes, I'll wash off some of that muck to start with, then get on to a bit of muck off. And I don't know whether we'll go as far as the full ACF 50 wax oil type thing today. But show. Stick a key in. Mileage now 5,001, 18 degrees centigrade. Oil warning light on. Neutral. In neutral. And start. Lovely. Right, can't resist. Having a go getting this sorted out. Source sound check. Okay, so what's the first job that needs to be done? Well, it's to wash this little beastie, because of course the last owner brought it down and it was wet and the roads are wet and it's covered in crap. So without further ado, wash it off with the hose. I know there's a hose pipe ban, couldn't give an F. And then I'll get out the muck off, then we'll rinse it off, then we'll might give it a little bit of a polish even. So yeah, starting off with getting rid of the baked on crud, and then proper wash. So I'll stick that on time lapse for a bit more entertainment. So the first actual job I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to drop the ride height just a tad with the adjusters on the shocks whilst the engine's cooling down before I start actually washing it. So that might make a little bit of difference for me. Really want to go, does it? That's just for show, isn't it? That side. Really, I want to loosen off this locking ring. There we go. There she goes. There. So yeah, taking it down. A little bit of dirt there, nothing too serious. So I'm going to take it down about 3 threads. It goes fairly easily actually, this. On each side. Hopefully just give me a little bit of reach with my little legs. Well, as this is going to take a little while, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute whilst I get down and dirty. And the next little job is to see whether I can just adjust up the gear change lever, because it's impossible to reach with these Daytona Max boots on. So hopefully I loosen it on its splines and move it up a notch or two. It will do what I need. It's got to be done. I've got more Loctite to put on once I've got the thing loose, which I think it is coming now. Whew. I may not need to remove it entirely. Right, there's no adjustment. Doesn't have splines as such, unless of course the whole thing's on splines, which I guess, seeing as I've gone this far, I need to find out. So there, no splines, it's just mounts on square. So does this come off? No, I don't think it does. Oh dear, that's a bugger, isn't it? Do I need to have these boots on to ride it? But I can't get my toe underneath the gear change lever to bring it up into other gears. So this is a problem. Now there must be a way around it. I can't do it that way. Backwards. So scrub that plan. The gear change lever is not adjusted at this point. That's just had to take it on and off. The adjustment is in here. You can see that control rod, which can be adjusted at both ends. So one would hope that that will meet my needs for adjustment, thank goodness. Okay, I think go back to plan A, do the wash first, and we'll do this perhaps another day. Just a light spray of the skirty, just to make sure there's something for the wash mitt to get itself into. Okay, so wash mitt at hand. Might speed this up if it's too boring. In that gorgeous petrol tank, just love this colour. The woman who sold it said she was thinking of taking the tank back to bare metal. I said, no, please don't. I hate those sorts of looks. This sort of classic look is what does it for me, what sold me the bike in the first place. I ain't going to change it big styly. I might make a few minor changes to smaller cosmetics. But no, nothing big. Definitely not. You know, it's things like tail tidies, which on some bikes look good, but on other bikes they just look like the back end. It's got nothing to it. And then when it rains, as it did today, you'll find that it just throws muck all over the place. So in reality, those sort of bikes can only be ridden on dry days. You know, not the sort of days which are common in the British spring and autumn, I'm not talking about even talking about winter, because I probably won't ride much in the winter. I know that makes me a quote-unquote fair weather bike. Oh, you don't ride all year round. Well, you know what? You can. I'm happy riding when the weather is bearable. Obviously, I try and extend that season by fitting things like heated grips, wearing the right clothing, essential, of course. And this is probably not going to be the most comprehensive wash in the history of comprehensive washes. It's meant to be let's take some of that road muck off. I don't think we've had any salt put down yet. It's been a very mild autumn to date, in actual fact. Oh, there's some muck in there. Might have to move the bike up or back to take account of the bits on the wheels which have not been exposed to any kind of water. The bike looks like it's been kept pretty clean over its life. A bit of muck there. Of course, if you spend much time on the Moto Guzzi forums, you'll think these bikes are a heap of rubbish because there's endless complaints about things. Well, there'll always be some things wrong with them. Let's hope there's nothing wrong with this, but I don't think they're necessarily any more unreliable competing brands, except maybe the most expensive. And these are fairly expensive for what they are, really, in comparison to the new BSA and Royal Enfields as such, which are definitely budget priced. Well, a bit of corrosion there, is it? Possibly. Or is it dead fly stuff? Here's a 6-year-old bike, so you might expect there to be some corrosion. Right, I'll turn you off now so I carry on with the rest of the cleaning. Rinsed her off. I'm going to let her to air dry for a little bit as I go and have a cup of tea, much needed, and then I'll come out and I'll finish off with a leaf blower. So yes, jobs to do when you get a new bike that's encrusted in mud and you want to see it in its pristine condition. I think ultimately I'm going to need to get the chrome polish out as well for the exhaust, the mirrors and bits and pieces, but that will be pleasurable, and then of course some polish for the tank. So, cheers, cup of tea finished. It's time to give this car a blow job. Oh, excellent. So there we have it, end of day one of my ownership of the V7 Special 2. I'm going to call Vera. She came dirty, she's in the shed and clean now, much more to come, and I'm really looking forward to owning this bike and riding it and bonding with it, which I think I have already. P.S. Bye for now.